Okay, in the Chem 1 course on the right-hand side, you'll see the Alka-Seltzer Rate Lab. So that was the lab that we worked on last week. Let's see, that would have been on Thursday, I guess. If I got that right. Okay, so here's the thing. Today, well, there was a second part to the lab. We could have done the lab all in one day, but we had a 2-hour delay on the day we did the lab. And then we're remote today, and we're probably going to be remote tomorrow. I mean, it looks like we could get quite a few inches of snow tomorrow. And then it looks like Thursday and Friday, we could also get another storm. So Wednesday might be the only relatively clear day this week. I'm not making any predictions, but it looks like this might not be the only remote day. So here's the deal. We need to have a test on this unit. So all the Chem Honors teachers, we're going to post that test for Unit 6 on Thursday. And so we're probably not going to be able to do the second part of the Alka-Seltzer Rate Lab. If we're in school tomorrow, then we can do the second part of the lab in class, but we're probably not going to be able to do that. So here's the deal. If you were not in school, and I know that I saw a couple Schoology messages from a few of you about the Alka-Seltzer Rate Lab, if you were remote or if you were absent. So in the Unit 6 folder, in the plan for this week, it says week of 2.5 to 2.9 or 2.15 to 2.19. The lab is right here. So if you're like if you turned it in, well, you wouldn't have turned it in yet because there's two parts of the lab, but you might have it on paper. So if you have it on paper and you want to turn it in on paper, that's okay whenever that we see each other next, which will probably be Wednesday. And then hold on a second. I got somebody else coming in. But if you're a remote student or if you were absent, in the folder for this week, the lab itself, you can turn it in here. This is the lab itself, the Alka-Seltzer Rate Lab, no canisters. And then at the bottom of the folder, there's a link that says video recording of the Zoom for 2/11. So this is a video from not your class, but from a different class, but from the same lab. Anyway, it's just not logged in. So the video shows like students setting it up and whatnot, and then describes the lab. It's actually my wife's class, and then you can see the actual experiment being done with the time that it takes to do each of the different parts. So as a demonstration, you can see the time that it takes for each of the parts to react. You want to time the amount of time it takes from the beginning of the reaction until all the bubbling is stopped. Here you can see the bubbling taking place in the video. In the video, it gets better at the different parts. So that's the video that you want to watch. She demonstrates it pretty well. All right, so here's the plan for today. In the folder for this week, you'll find, let me get back to it. You'll find the schedule for the week. So today we got a remote day. There's a review that's in the folder for this week. There's going to be two parts to the review. So the tentative preliminary plan is that if you didn't do the Alka-Seltzer Rate Lab, you can watch the video for that and work on that. You can also work on the review for the test. So really, like, I mean, the kind of things that are important in this unit include like writing the names for different chemicals, like ionic compounds, covalent compounds, acids, and then hydrocarbons, like alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. We worked on writing single replacement reactions, double replacement reactions, combustion reactions, acid-base reactions, which are double replacement reactions forming salt and water. We worked on balancing equations, writing total ionic equations and net ionic equations. You can always use your periodic table. You can always use the ion chart, use a solubility chart, use the activity series to help you writing equations. So there's a Unit 1 review that's in the folder. So what you really want to work on today for the rest of the period, work on the first part of the review. And if you were absent for the Alka-Seltzer Rate Lab, you can do that. So if we're in school, we can finish that lab tomorrow and do part 2. But I'm probably going to bet we won't be in school tomorrow. So it's likely that I'll just have you turn in just the first part of the lab. But tomorrow we'll go over a bunch of stuff in the first part of the review. So if you want to be prepared for the test, the best thing to do is work on the first part of the review. And then when we go over it, see how well you did, get your questions answered. There's a second part, which we'll do on Wednesday. We'll probably be in school on Wednesday. And then the reactions unit test will be on Thursday. And then the next thing we're going to do is studying a thing we call stoichiometry. And stoichiometry doesn't look like much of a word that you've ever seen before, but I'll tell you all about stoichiometry, which is really about measuring the amounts of reactants and products you get in a chemical reaction, figuring out limiting reactants, kind of like you need to weigh out some stuff or measure volumes of materials to make chemical reactions take place without having stuff left over. Or if you want to make a certain amount of product, how you calculate how much reactant you're going to need, each of the reactants. That's what stoichiometry is like all about. All right, so in the folder for the week, you'll find this reactions unit test review. I mean, if you can print it out, you can print it out and that's okay. But otherwise, you can see the problems and then, write them out on paper in your notes. So, like writing some balanced equations, propene reacts in a combustion reaction with oxygen. You should know what the products of combustion are. Write the balanced equation. Some with just balancing equations that are given and describing reaction types, predicting whether or not products of a single replacement reaction take place, predicting whether or not a double replacement reaction takes place. Do these reactions occur? That's based upon the activity series. When in a double displacement reaction or double replacement reaction, is there no reaction? What kind of things can you do to speed up reactions? Then there are some double replacement reactions where you can include the states, balance the equation, write the total and net ionic equation. There's a few of those. So that's a little bit of mix of everything that we've done in the unit over the last well over a month. We've taken more time to do this unit than typical, partly because we're remote, partly because we've been in and out of school. You should have had plenty of time to practice and prepare, and everything in chemistry is cumulative, so it just keeps building on itself. Anyway, I got you all written down for attendance. So if you need to work on the lab, you can work on the lab, just the first part, and work on the review. I can stay in the room if you have questions about anything, or if you need help with something. I sort of have my tablet, but I didn't bring my stylus, so it's hard for me to write things for you to see today. I need to run up to school at lunchtime and get that stylus for the afternoon classes. If you don't have any questions, you can work on the review, work on the lab. You don't have to stay in the Zoom, but if you have questions or anything, put it in the chat, or you can, just turn on your mic and ask it.